Hey everyone, this is Hoot, host and producer of the Sports Daily Podcast. Let me get right to it. So I heard the comments that JJ Reddick made this morning on ESPN's First Take. And he responded to Chris Russo regarding his racial undertones that JJ Reddick felt were disturbing and exactly the problem that we have not only in sports but in America. And I've been talking about this for quite some time on our show for 3 seasons. And so there's a couple things that come to mind. JJ Reddick is not only in the space of being an ally and no longer being complicit when it comes to not being a voice and speaking out against systemic racism, social injustice, and white privilege. And there are others in that white space. And so I give him mad props, along with Rex Chapman, and there are others. Kyle Korver, former NBA player. But there are too many, far too many, that do not speak out and do not get so irritated by those types of comments. And they're not outraged by those types of comments. And Chris Russo's smug ass, microaggression, ignorant ass comments. What we're going to do in the Sports Deli, and what I know JJ Reddick and Rex Chapman are going to continue to do, is speak up and dribble. Speak up and dribble. Now, there's a large segment of the population that are going to listen to white people when white people speak, and a large segment of the population that are going to listen to people of color when they speak. Even if they're saying the exact same thing, they're going to listen to people that look like them and talk like them. You know who has not been a voice, who continues to be complicit, and who has not spoken out enough, if at all, about social injustice and white privilege and systemic racism? Tom Brady, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Blondie, Aaron Rodgers, Troy Aikman, and there are many others. And I've said this on many a show, how disgusting and how disturbing, how frustrating, and quite honestly, just how sad it is that those guys continue to be complicit, it being their choice aside, in this space of being a white ally, a public white ally. And man, mad props to JJ Reddick and Rex Chapman in particular, because those are the two guys that continue to talk about this stuff. I'm not an influencer. I'm maybe a connector of a connector. And it is so disheartening and so frustrating that there are so many people that need these white voices to speak out against the systems that are still in place in sports and in society. Whether it's healthcare, whether it's voting suppression, whether it's education, whether it's small business loans, whatever the case may be. And there are strength in numbers. We've seen it. 144 women of the WNBA forced an owner out and changed 2 elections. Women have always been at the forefront of movements. Always have been. And I can't for the life of me, as much as I want to give JJ Reddick credit, not just for today, for noticing the undertones that most white people would not even catch or understand. The fact that he got it. And you know why I know that he got it? Because I haven't seen one tweet, I haven't heard one person of color in sports or otherwise say anything less then basically JJ Redick gets it, and he's one of the realest dudes out there, one of the realest white dudes out there. And that shit today was real. He was legit pissed off. And see, that's the difference. So there have been sort of two shifts that I've seen in this country and in sports. First time was in 2016 with the 45th president and all the divisiveness and the changes that we've seen vibrationally, policy-wise, with how people communicate with each other, the discourse, and then after 2020, after the murder of George Floyd. And that resonated with me in a way that made me, like JJ and Kyle and Rex and others, Caruso is another one who's been very outspoken about this systemic racism and white privilege, and feeling like he doesn't want to be complicit anymore by just taking a back seat and acting like it's not his problem. Black people can't leave it. They got to live it. I can leave it. JJ Reddick can leave it. Kyle Korver can leave it. People of color can't. I had a discussion with the guy for the last week or so on LinkedIn. And I said, there's two different sets of laws in this country. And he said, no, there's not, basically. And I said, yes, there is. Racism has been codified in law, as Jay Billis said when he came on my show. And many aspects of what he was talking about has not changed. Kelsey Trainer, another attorney, very involved in sports, good friends with Jay Billis from ESPN, also came on the show. A male perspective and a female perspective. And both said the same thing regarding people of color and women. The two most marginalized people in the country and arguably in the world. And so I just wanted to come on today to talk about JJ Redick and the other white influencers who have been so public and had so much courage to come out in a space that really has been untapped in the white community. To say, stop telling people of color, like Draymond Green, to shut up and dribble, but rather speak up and dribble. And to once again call out, in particular, the most popular sport in the United States, football, in particular the National Football League, and their white influencers, whether they're retired or still playing, to do more publicly. I literally would die to have their platform. I would do anything and everything to help change narratives and policies, to help change mindsets, and children see the world differently so that the mobilization that they engage in when they get older is far different than my grandparents' generation, my parents' generation, and my generation. Because that's what's needed in this country. We need more white public allies in Fortune 500 companies, in sports, owners, in Congress, at the state level, and at the local level. Because there is implicit bias still. There are two different sets of narratives in this country. Racism still exists. Racial profiling still exists. And if you're not conscious and deliberate every day, the definition in part of being anti-racist, in the corners of your own home, to when you go out in public, when you talk to people, especially your family and friends, if you're not conscious and deliberate every day and make it a point to be anti-racist every day, sort of like you would make with your diet or exercise in terms of a lifestyle change, then you're not going to catch those little nuanced microaggressions that J.J. Reddick caught today with Chris Russo. And he shut him up. Did you see his face after he told him that he didn't appreciate his undertones? He called him out. And he was right, in my humble opinion. So I hope that all of you watch it. If you haven't seen it, I hope you learned a couple of things today. You see my passion with regards to this, and it's not just social injustice. It's any group of people, any individual that is bullied, that is marginalized, that is incarcerated for nonviolent offenses because of flawed mandatory minimums and 3 strikes and you're out programs, that both sides of the aisle are complicit and continue to be at fault. And yes, we need everyone to come together, but we mostly need white people and white people in power and in control of all of these systems to do the right thing, to be on the right side of history. So all the people that came before all of us won't be in vain. Not just the Martin Luthers, and not just the Malcolm X's, but the Arthur Ashes, the Muhammad Alis, the Jackie Robinsons, all the people that have sacrificed their careers, their reputations, so that things can be better for future generations. John Carlos, Tommy Smith, Serena Williams' dad, Tiger Woods' dad, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dr. Richard Labchick, Judy Sweet, Billie Jean King. These are names that are just coming to me off the top of my head. I didn't plan anything that I was going to say. I was actually in bed. And I watched the video one more time of J.J. Reddick, and I was like, man, I can't let this ride. I can't go to sleep without saying something. There have been too many people that have lost their lives, lost their careers, like Colin Kaepernick, Craig Hodges, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, for white people to not do more, so that things can continue to change at a faster pace, so that there's only one set of law in this country in the future. Until next time, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. If you have any feedback, please feel free to email me at thesportsdeli@gmail.com. Check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok, which we just had one of our videos go viral for the first time. It's roughly at 125,000 views. I shared my opinion, and I duetted ShaneMorris.sucks about him and his wife going through a pregnancy and cancer, and some things going on with their situation regarding some laws in Texas. So would encourage you and be honored if you go check out my content on TikTok. And until next time, remember, Black Lives Matter. Stop the bullying. Stop the Asian hate. And remember, it takes a village. Much love, everybody. Peace.